All right, what's going on, everyone? So just kind of hanging out tonight, kind of doing what I've done a few times now, where I have to add some stuff to D&D Beyond. Just kind of feel like hanging out, chatting a bit, if anybody's out there, and throwing some stuff around, just playing with some things. I got a subclass that I want to work on today for a player of mine, as I have, for some reason, historically been doing now, running these different subclasses, trying to come up with stuff for my players. And one of my players in my library game is playing a Barbarian, and they are playing a blue Dragonborn Barbarian. Their whole character concept, kind of in a sense of how Skyrim works. When you kill a dragon, you get its soul. So when she and I were talking about it and wanting to come up with an idea that I could really sink my teeth into with her character, I sent her a thing about this subclass that, and if you have watched my channel before, you'll know that Cephas, our good old friend Steve, who plays Cephas, the Warforged Barbarian, plays a Volcano Barbarian. He plays a Cataclysm, Path of the Cataclysm, Volcano Barbarian. And as you can see on here, this is a slightly different setup and design to how that class is actually. I had my stream pulled up on another tab. It's actually different how this is handled. And that's because the first time that I pulled this up, there was, it was a different form, and it looks like things have really been changed. And I noticed one major change. And if I pull it up in here, let me, it's Path of the Cataclysm. Wait, what is the Cataclysm? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Here it is, Path of the Cataclysm. So you can see in this original one, one of the big differences to start with is the disaster aura. So on the left here is the original, on the right here is the new version of it. And as you can see, it kind of changes some of the wording. You know, it doesn't overtly say what your what your aura saving throw is, it being that 8+ proficiency plus constitution. That's not really in here. You can see I have some formatting errors, but a big thing that has changed is when a creature starts its turn in your aura, you can deal magic damage equal to half your level if it requires it. And also, right here, creatures of your choice in the area take an amount of damage equal to 1d6 plus your constitution modifier. Now, I've read through here a couple times. That's just not a thing that was there before. So now, when you start this aura, when you rage, and for Cephas, it's the volcano, you radiate incredible heat and powerful flames. Where is it at? Here it is. Yeah, basically the same thing. Dealing fire damage, casting bright light within, and casting bright light within. Yeah, see, on here, it's different. Like, on the original one, it was worded poorly. Over here, you deal fire damage and shed bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 15. So, like, you actually get a very big area of light. And when you take damage, you can use your reaction to erupt superheated jets of flames. Creatures of your choice within 5 feet, you take an amount of damage equal to your constitution modifier and are blasted 5 feet away from you. So if you are hit by this, if you're hit by a creature, you can use your reaction to just boom, and creatures of your choice within 5 feet. That is as many as you want within around you can take that damage and are blasted 5 feet away from you. And that's still within the aura because it's still 10 feet. Not only that, but when you start your rage, which is again a bonus action for barbarians, but as an action while raging, you can send power surging through your aura. Creatures of your choice in the aura, in the area, take an amount of damage equal to 1d6 plus your Constitution modifier. For some reason, I think that was in here. Yeah, you can send power surging through your area. But I don't, like, I've tried reading through here, and I've gone into, like, edit this, and I don't see where I have it featured that other than right here. When you enter a rage at, yeah, and see, this is the crazy thing. On here, it's actually worded differently. So, yeah, creatures of your choice, taking an amount of damage equal to 1d8 plus, there it is, yeah. So, sorry, yeah, the other one, for some reason, didn't show everything. But yeah, half of your barbarian level, you enter a rage, when you do so, creatures of your choice. So yeah, and here's that bonus. I honestly, like, as much as this is kind of a nerf on what this is, I like how it is kind of changing the basics to this stuff. You know, in this original disaster aura for the volcano, again, just kind of thinking of that mostly because, you know, that's one of the players, you know, here. This one was when you deal aura damage at the start of your turn. So again, this one is more focused on when a creature starts its turn, but yeah, when you deal aura damage at the start of your turn, all creatures within 5 feet of you take twice the damage instead, or thrice the damage if there's prone. Honestly, I kind of like this reaction. You know, the barbarian doesn't really get a lot of reactions unless they take sentinel or something like that as a feat. And I kind of like how they've altered that a little bit. And I'm not going to erase this class. Yeah, here's the other big change. It went from Corona to Solar Flare, and I can't imagine why they changed that. Yeah, and when I first read this, I was like, Corona, that's like the beer, and then, you know, 2020 hits, and suddenly it's not just the beer. Find a better barbarian. Not a better barbarian, but the updated version of the one that Steve plays. So this is the original one here, the original Path of the Cataclysm. Just as I had originally added it in. It has all the same stuff. It has the disaster aura. It has the omen of catastrophe, Gaia's embrace, channel of the apocalypse. But the difference now is that two major things. So one, there's some slightly different wording in here. There's a slight nerf to the amount of damage that creatures of your choice take in the aura. Now, I will say, the original wording was when you enter a rage as an action, and as an action while raging, you can deal 1d8 plus your Constitution modifier to all creatures in the aura. That's good because it's an extra damage. It's an extra 2 on top of your on your damage. It's an extra 2 max. This now I think is a lot better. Creatures of your choice in the aura. So this means that if somebody needs to power around the barbarian, they're now safe from them using this aura. Not necessarily that everybody's going to be right up and around the barbarian in every encounter, but if you have somebody like a paladin or a war cleric or a a fighter who's going to be up alongside them, you now don't have to worry about that, especially whenever the aura increases. A 15-foot radius, that's a big chunk of land. So again, I'm not going to be changing this. I am simply going to be making a new version of it. And actually, one of the big changes, as you might notice, there's 8 options on here. There's 9 options now on the new one. And that is because Nexus was added. So what it is instead of it being, disease and, poison, blizzard with cold, earthquakes, being the thunder damage, flood being bludgeoning and dealing with the ocean, sandstorm, slashing, and also heat, radiant, lightning, and fire. This is magic. This is just straight magic. And granted, there are magic barbarians. The Path of the Wild magic barbarian is a cool subclass, but I kind of like how this is worded. So your attacks become your aura becomes force damage, which force damage is one of those damage types that is so rarely ever resisted or immune. I think the Helmed Horror is one of the only things that has resistance to force damage. So that in itself is already great. When a spell attack roll originates from or targets a point within your aura, you can divide its damage evenly among targets of your choice within your aura. The number of targets you choose cannot exceed your Constitution modifier +1. That is ridiculous. This means that magic rare, yeah, I mean, even grabbing a feat for barbarians is oftentimes difficult, because one of the things about barbarians is that while you're raging, you can't cast them or concentrate while raging. So you have to be very selective. So if you have a spell that is concentration, you can't use it when you're raging. So you have to cast your spells before you rage, which is a huge trade-off. But this Nexus ability is great because it grants you the ability to have a warlock cast Eldritch Blast at enemies around you. And when they do, this does not say that it converts that damage and then separates that. It says, and maybe it does, maybe I'm just not reading it, when a spell attack roll originates from or targets a point within your aura, you can divide its damage. That, again, still, if you have a warlock who is doing 2d10 damage, and you can divide that amongst 4 enemies around you instead of just hitting 1 or 2, that's so powerful. And I mean, with most barbarians, you're going to have at least like a +2 or a +3 to your Constitution modifier. So you're going to get 3 or 4 targets that you can hit up. Not necessarily saying that everybody's going to go for this. There's so many different options here. But I like that. I like having resistance to force damage, even though it's not that crazy, but learning prestidigitation, that's just cool. And also getting Big B's Hand in Wall of Force later on. So, like I said, what I'm going to be working on tonight is some subclass stuff for one of my players in my library game. So they are playing a blue Dragonborn Barbarian. Now, their character idea is that they are out in the world hunting for dragons, wanting to harness their souls. Whatever that means specifically to them when they design their character, I don't know. But an idea that I had come up with whenever we were looking to get, when the characters reached 3rd level and they were getting their subclasses. Unfortunately, she hasn't been able to play with us for a couple sessions since they got their subclasses. So that kind of leaves leaves us with a little bit of a break between these choices. One of the ideas that I had was offering to this player the ability to utilize this subclass as a means by which to play into that dragon soul thing. Now she's playing a blue Dragonborn. So blue Dragonborns are automatically lightning based. So my idea for her was that her character Zor would start out with the Tempest ability. Wind and lightning surge from your body. You deal lightning damage and can use a bonus action to focus that lightning on a creature or object within your aura and blast it in a straight line up to 15 feet towards or away from you. And I kind of love that imagery of a bolt of lightning just like punching a creature in the chest and launching them backwards, or a gust of wind carrying them towards you. And kind of with the lightning aspect, if they're composed of or wearing metal, you can move it up to 30 feet instead. So there is a spell called Lightning Lore where you can pull a creature up to you. So I kind of like this idea of almost like magnetizing them and drawing them into you, or using a giant wind blast to throw them back. It also gives you that bright light in 15 feet beyond the limits of your aura. So that again, there is already super powerful, illuminating your battlefield, getting rid of, any kind of visual obstacles when it comes to darkness. But the way that the Draconic Soul absorbing a thing would work is when the time comes that the group kills the dragon and Zor is able to absorb the soul of the dragon. In this case, they are going after a white dragon, so that's going to be snow and ice. So Blizzard, once she absorbs this dragon soul, at the start of Zor's long rest, they would be able to pick between either Tempest or Blizzard. Could not have both. You cannot benefit from both aspects. Now, I will say, Tempest, at least once 6 levels reach, blue Dragonborn automatically gain resistance to lightning damage, so this is not necessarily the greatest thing, but I am going to add Thunder, even though Thunder is accounted for in Earthquake. I'm going to add Thunder in here because I think it's thematically accurate. But, they could, Zor could have Blizzard activated for the day, which allows you to use a bonus action to soothe the flames of battle and give out some temporary hit points. But not only that, gaining resistance to cold damage and ignoring difficult terrain caused by icy conditions. Again, once you kill the white dragon is around a snowy area. This becomes a benefit, but also the fact that you'll be able to use this later on. You'll be able to use these abilities later on. And plus, you also get stuff as well from that. So I'm going to jump into here. This is a lot to add. I remember adding the first Path of the Cataclysm, and it was a honking chunk of data. And another one that I want to add because I want to give her some options. Again, her character is going to be a dragon hunter. That's what she wants her character to be, somebody who goes out and hunts dragons. And as much as I don't mind this whole setup, when raging, if you attack a creature who's larger than you, your rage bonus is doubled. That's cool. But the thing to consider is that the rage bonus for a barbarian up until that level is only a 2 for a while. So yeah, +4 is good, but you can roll a 1d8 and you have a mid chance of rolling a 4. So I like this. I don't necessarily think this is the greatest. Also, gaining advantage on animal handling checks and intimidation against non-humanoids. That's cool for a 3rd level ability. I kind of get where they're going for because it is the hunter. It doesn't really evoke this sense of somebody facing down a Tarrasque. Gaining a 10-foot walking speed and taking the dash action as a bonus action. I don't get how that's Colossus Challenger. I could see maybe if it was you know, when faced against a large creature, you can increase your walking speed by 10 feet if you move towards the creature, as long as it puts you closer to the creature, or it should be the wording. And then this, but this whole idea, reading the Path of the Hunter, really got me thinking about another subclass from another class entirely, and that would be the Ranger. Now, the Ranger Hunter subclass is, in a sense, very similar to the Path of the Cataclysm, or honestly, I should say it's more closer to the Storm Herald, because you get 3 different effects when you take this. So Colossus Slayer, Giant Killer, and Horde Breaker. When you take this at 3rd level, you get one of these options. Giant Killer is basically what that other one was kind of about, but is a lot better. When a larger creature within 5 feet of you hits or misses you, you can use your reaction to immediately attack them. That's not doubling your damage, your rage bonus. That's getting another attack. And that could be with a Great Sword, which is 2d6, which with that, you're looking at 7 points average on damage. And same with a Great Axe, 1d12 averaging out to 7 points of damage. Yeah, I'm going to do that, anytime. Horde Breaker, being able to attack multiple creatures around you. Colossus Slayer, being able to take down that creature, dealing an extra 1d8 if it's below its maximum hit points. This is great for just round over round damage dealing. An extra d8 once per turn is very powerful. So Barbarians and Rangers do start out getting subclass abilities at 3rd level, but the funny thing is that they're very close when they get their subclass abilities. In fact, they're just a level off. Barbarians get their subclass abilities 1 level before a Ranger. So Barbarians at 6, Rangers at 7. Barbarians at 10, Rangers at 11. Barbarians at 15 or 14, Rangers at 15. So with that, I'm legitimately just going to copy and paste the Hunter subclass from Ranger to Barbarian, because I feel that between these 2 options, the player that I'm setting this up for at the library will have 2 very good options to pick from. One, I believe this Path of the Cataclysm is just a great subclass in general. I think Steve has proven that. As Cephas is a very powerful character. But these changes on here are very useful, and I like the changes that have come with it. So I think this goes more with the story and the plot elements that this player wants for Zor. And with that, this is kind of the direction that I hope she goes, but I won't be upset if she doesn't, because it's her character. I probably will have to talk to Steve about seeing if he's comfortable with switching over to this one. I know there's a little bit of there's definitely a change between the 2 of them. And it's entirely up to him if he likes the way he's going now, if he likes what he gets, and we'll compare and contrast the 2 of them as we go, because I am going to have it pulled up on the left here every now and again, just to kind of compare abilities once I get to here. But the first one that I'm actually going to do tonight, just because I think it's actually going to be faster, is going to be the Hunter. Now, I actually had this thought. Yeah, I should probably just do it this way. So Ranger, Hunter, we're going to create. I did not mean to make a Path of the Ancestral Guardian copy. Dragonborn Hunter. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Dragonborn Hunter Barbarian is, is what it is. A Dragonborn Hunter that hunts dragons. A Dragonborn Dragon Hunter Barbarian. All right, so this is Path of the Cataclysm, the original one. This is the new one, which I'm actually going to save real quick for the changes that I had to it. So Path of Cataclysm V2. This is copy of the Hunter. So this is the Ranger one. This is what I need to be working off of. So that's going to come over here so I have something to work with. And Barbarian, you know what? As much as I didn't do it the first time, we are going to create from a run. And this is going to be Path of the Hunter. So let's pull this up because this, oh, actually I already had that open. Here we go. And I will say, luckily, at least D&D Beyond has good formatting, and it's because it's in its own thing. Because that is a pain in the ass when I have to go through and like pull back on spaces and stuff. Back. All right, so now let's get a jump into these. So we got 4 class features: Frenzy and Hunter's Prey. So this is just going to be, nope, so easy in comparison to things that I have done. So we're going to delete the Frenzy attack. Reload. Of course it changed everything. Like that. And we're going to open each one of these just because it's going to make my life easier. So add an option. Yeah, turn up that lo-fi. There we go. That's why I couldn't hear it. Yeah. Okay, 3rd level. Create option. In here, we're going to go to Actions, Colossus Slayer, General. I wish, honestly, that I could just kind of copy the Ranger and just say like, oh, this is now it's now a Barbarian thing. Be done with it. Be so nice to have. So save that. We're going to go back. Why is that still listed as Frenzy? Nope, that's wrong. Cancel. Because I never copied this. There we go. Cool. Now we're on to option number 3, Giant Killer. And honestly, I have to say, as maybe as it is like taking away from the Ranger to give the Barbarian essentially the same thing, I think thematically, you know, it's a cool option. Oh, hey, look at that. Right as I'm streaming, my player messaged me back saying that they love the idea of the Cataclysm one. So, you know what? Yeah, sad Ranger noises. I'm sorry, Stacy. Sad Ranger noises, indeed. It is. It's one of those things where, you know what? No. Let me rephrase that. Not sad Ranger noises. Not sad Ranger noises in any way, shape, or form. Happy Ranger noises. The Hunter subclass for Rangers is a well-designed subclass that has great features. hands down, the abilities that it gets are crazy. And yeah, barbarians are more physically, like, more strength-based and oftentimes are, more frontliners. Rangers are also up there. But with them, with this being as powerful as it is, I feel like this kind of, works really well with any class. Like, a lot of these abilities, and I like this idea. It is too loud now. Wow. Wasn't it like a happy medium for that music? Go. Copy. Paste. Save. Cool. Save. That. Cancel. Save. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay, good. I did that right. All right. Hunter's Prey. Awesome. Give that another quick save. Roll it back. You know what? As much as I was going to do Hunter first, I don't know why I closed that out. As much as I was going to do Hunter first, I think now, knowing what I know from my player, actually... Riveting radio, I know. But yeah, so we're just gonna we're gonna jump over to the Path of the Cataclysm, and we're gonna do that one first. All right, so the way that I had to design this was essentially the same way that I had to do the Hunter. So we have to go under class feature, and we have to essentially change all of these. So we're going to move that over, and we're going to open each one of these in its own tab, and we're just going to start. So I know I had this. Yeah, here we go. You know what? How did I do this actually? Let me close that out. Close that. Close that. So Storm Aura. I'm gonna bring this over to a different window. Smack that right there so I can see both of them at the same time. So we're gonna change that from Storm to Disaster Aura. When you enter a rage, and as an action while raging, you can deal 1d6 plus con to creatures of your choice within the aura. In addition, creatures that start their turn within the aura take damage equal to half of your level wear. When you enter a rage, you can send Catastrophe. Your aura gains. When a creature starts its turn, you can deal... Yes, cool. So we're going to go ahead and copy all of this. Throw that into there. Fix some of this formatting. And Actually, I want... this in parentheses, character level divided by 2, and then we're going to do at roundup. Because half of your level... Yeah, it's always going to be rounded up for players, at least in my games. So that's always going to be the case. Cool. So we have this. This is everything from there. And we're going to go down here. Everything else should be the same. Yep. Cool. So now we're going to save this. Now, I want to see how I had the original ones. So, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Okay, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more to them than what I had originally. So in here, we're going to start with Blight. God, I hate it. This is going to be Blight. You emanate disease and toxic miasma. You deal necrotic damage, and creatures of your choice in your aura suffer disadvantage on strength and dexterity checks. That is exactly what we'll do. So that's easy enough. Is granted, requires level 3. Yep. Actions. We don't have to do anything with that. So we just need to erase that. All right, go. So, Blight. Good. Yep, I know now what I must do. Winter, wind, and frigid snow surround you. You deal cold damage. Blizzard, like the terrible game company. You deal cold damage. And as a bonus action, can grant creatures of your choice in your aura. We're going to do an unsigned number here. It's actually the same thing that's in here, but we're going to do a different snippet extension. Character level, half your character level, round it up. And then we need to do, I think from here it's unsigned. You deal cold damage, and as a bonus action, you deal cold damage, and as a bonus action, you can grant creatures of your choice in your aura. Nope, we're just going to reduce that. You can grant creatures in your aura that many temporary hit points. There we go. Snippet codes are the worst. I get them. I love them at the same time. Like, I know why I must use them. But boy, oh boy, is that a pain in my ass. All right, so since we have a thing here, this is just going to be called Blizzard. This is going to be a bonus action, okay. This is going to be as a bonus action. You can grant, you know what? I feel like an idiot for not doing this in the first place. There we go. Do that. We're going to paste that there. We're going to copy all of this. Now we're going to Control Z. Now we're going to go down to the actions. Now we're going to change here. And we're going to call this Disaster Aura Blizzard. It's a bonus action. Let's paste everything in there. Let's do this. Control X, A, V. Delete, delete. As a bonus action, you can grant creatures in your aura that many temporary hit points. Sick. Save. Perfect. Let's see, when we cancel, we'll always go back to this page. And then once we're all said and done and we hit each one of them, then we'll be able to hit save and it'll be the whole thing. Which is really nice. It's an easy way to manage this. Okay, so that. Earthquake. Your blows carry the incredible power of the shifting earth and falling avalanches. You deal thunder damage. And you can, can use bonus action to focus the tremors on a creature of your choice with an aura. Okay, so you deal thunder damage and can use a bonus action to target a creature of your choice within your aura. That creature must make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Cool. So I could actually, if I wanted to, I don't know if I have a means to do this. There's a way to like make that a conditionable thing that like you can click prone, but that's not necessary. All right, so we need to get that copied, that into there. So earthquake, save changes for now. Actions, don't need to add, we need to edit. Disaster Aura. Earthquake. It's a bonus action. Glorious Zote. What's up, Glorious Zote? How you doing? Bit of a glitchy background there. Less of a... Oh, yeah, like right here. Yeah, that's just because it's, whatchamacallit. NVIDIA Broadcast. I could, you know, it's one of those things where, like, if I wanted to, I could, you know, oh, there's my whole background. Fan is on? Nope. Well, fan is on back there. That fan is also on. But, like, you know, got my container of... I had some chicken fajitas tonight. That was my dinner. And there's the tinfoil ball from crabs that I had. And my G Fuel with the big titty anime lady on it. But movie magic. I think performance is not any better. Performance actually makes my head look weird. But nah, yeah, same thing. It's mostly the lighting. This is where the magic happens. This is not where the magic happens. Oh, yeah, that's the magic right there. Oh, yeah. That's right. It fell on my face. Yeah. Camera knows where the magic's at. I think my face looks way too big whenever I do this. That just bugs the crap out of me. No, yeah, don't. No, if you have a graphics card that is a TI or it's a 3060 or above, you can actually download a program called NVIDIA Broadcast that has a lot of amazing features on it. There's the background removal, which does, I mean, this works. Actually, what is that? Oh, I know exactly what that is that's causing that problem. Funny enough, that is a fan. It was just catching the reflection. There it is. Now it's gone. So, but it has a bunch of other features. You know, it has the auto frame, which if you watch my D&D streams, I use this all the time. Just because it kind of keeps me in frame because I move around and want to make sure that I stay in frame. But there's also stuff on here like background replacement. If you want to, you know, change what your background looks like, we'll throw up a random picture of fog. There we go. You can even do background blur, which makes it look like you're on a really awkward green screen of your own room, which I find incredibly upsetting. So yeah, you can also do noise removal, which I think works, but you can only do 3 effects. So yeah, I generally switch between background removal and auto frame between my different kinds of streams, be that gaming or D&D. So Glenn. No, the only magic that happens in here is magic missile. That's all. All right. So, back to where we were. Adding in the earthquake abilities for this particular subclass. I like that. Thunder damage, bonus action to, you know, cause a creature to fall down. Prone has so many good uses in 5e. Advantage on attacks and stuff like that is always perfect. Around my head, yeah, it is. That's just the fact that my head is kind of gonna do that. That just happens whenever I have the background removal on. It's just a side effect of the camera, just how it catches light, you know, and the computer just trying to do its thing, because you can see, like, kind of catches light if I tilt and shift different ways. Plus, also the headphones don't help. I think without the headphones, still about the same. Oh well, 'tis my deal. As long as I don't have to actually spend money for a green screen, or, you know, run chroma key or something like that, this is just fine. Just fine. All right, disaster aura. So that one is done. We're gonna hit cancel and go back. All right, so we got blight, blizzard, and earthquake, which means I have to hit save here and close these because these will fuck it up if I don't. There we go. Cool. All right, so now that we have this, I'm gonna open up so many tabs here. Good thing I have a lot of RAM, because I need to open up one for Flood, Nexus, Sandstorm, Solar Flare, Tempest, and Volcano. So that's 6 tabs. Okay, so we got 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. All right. Next option for disaster aura, Flood. It is kind of like a Storm Herald, but cooler. So what this is actually a redo of a subclass that one of my players has been playing already for a little while. It's the Path of the Cataclysm. And while they're very similar, oh shoot, I had it over here. While they're very similar, it just kind of expands upon it. So where the, where the Storm Herald gets Desert, Sea, and Tundra for fire, kind of lightning, and like air, and then the ice, this one gets a lot of options. Plus, it also gets that, it gets, I think, a larger aura, if I'm not mistaken, because I think the aura is only ever set at 10 feet. Yeah. I'm looking through here. I don't think it ever goes beyond... oh, no, I'm sorry. Here, no, that's the damage. Yeah. No, the aura is only 10 feet in here. Cataclysm is a lot bigger, but again, it's also just a big kind of expanse on that. The reason why I loved it whenever I first found it. On one of my Sunday games, the Phandalin 5, Steve plays a Warforged barbarian named Cephtus, who is a Volcano Barbarian. So this is one that I have seen played. It's very cool. Some of the abilities, the Volcano Barbarian just gets the ability to set aflame any object that isn't being worn or carried just by touching it, which he has been using to take a oversized bow, and he was using a longbow, but now he has an oversized bow, draw back the arrow, and then touch the tip of the arrow and release a flaming arrow. It's just really cool. I did not play Elden Ring. I can't stand Souls games, so my apologies if you are a fan of Souls games. Not that I don't like them, just can't, I can't deal with that. I need a game that makes me feel like a god. Is also played by a cool British guy. Yeah, it is played by a cool British guy, but he has a robot voice at times, which I think is even cooler. Yeah, I have played Dark Souls, though. I have played... I never played Demon Souls, but I played Dark Souls 1 or 2. Aurora Lux, if you saw what he's like. Well, we're going to see what he looks like. Oh, goodness me. Don't know if I'd go with that. What Cephtus actually looks like, and I only have this because from his token, he does like tremors. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's the whole idea of the Volcano Barbarian. Is that ability to like explode up the ground. Yeah, there he is. There's good old Cephtus. Yeah, he's got that volcanic aura around him. But yeah, the volcano aura, it's crazy. Yeah, you radiate incredible heat and powerful flames. You deal fire damage and shed bright light in a 30-foot radius, dim light for an additional 15 when you take damage. Now, this is actually new because it is changed from the old one that I had, which I will put that over here. So this was the original one. Your attunement to magma or flame spreads it to the landscape around you, superheating the ground. When you deal aura damage at the start of your turn, all creatures within 5 feet of you take twice the damage instead, or thrice the damage if they are prone. Now, the problem is that I often forget this, and Steve has to remind me this. I always forgot, and I felt terrible today going back through and reading this, to realize that like some of those creatures he should have been dealing a little bit more damage. But it's also whenever it starts your turn, that this damage happens. That's it's at the start of the creature's turn, so that's also a little bit of a difference than what this says. So like I said, I like the new one. I like how the new one's worded. All right, so your aura deals bludgeoning damage. Creatures of your choice in your aura jump half as high and as far as they otherwise could. For all creatures of your choice without a swim speed, the space in your aura is difficult terrain. Oh, okay, I get it. If you have enemies in your aura and they don't have a swim speed, you can make that area difficult terrain. Okay. Cool. Creatures of your choice in your aura jump half as high and as and far as they otherwise could. Additionally, here's your choice without swim speed in space. Yeah, okay. That's cool. So 3rd level. And I don't have to add an action because there's no action attributed to that. It's more of a passive skill. So hit save. I should have just hit cancel. It's easier. Okay, cool. All right. Up next, Nexus. This is the newest. This is the newest change to this. So this one was not here in the original iteration of this. But Nexus, you deal force damage. Spell attack roll originates from or targets a creature within your point. You can divide its damage evenly amongst the number of targets you can choose. Okay. When a spell attack roll originates from or targets a point within your aura, you can divide its damage evenly among... Go. Need my snippets back. This is going to be with a minimum of 2. Evenly among modifier con. I need to put this in parentheses. I think it needs to be... Oh, wait, no. Actually, it doesn't need to be in parentheses. It needs to be first. 1 plus modifier con, minimum 2. You can divide its damage evenly among, and we need to do it hashtag unsigned targets of your choice within your aura. There we go. This sort of feeds into one of my criticisms with a lot of class. Actually, most abilities are boring, so instead of nerfing the OP ones, buff everything else. Their abilities are more interesting. This being a good improvement on stuff. Yeah, you know what? I entirely agree with that. I think, but I will say that while I agree with that wholeheartedly, I know a lot of people's complaints with stuff like that is power creep, where when the PHB first came out, you had very basic subclasses, and it was always you're always trying to improve. You're always trying to, like, you know, make the next thing interesting and, you know, cool to use. And so you give it more, you give it a buff, and then you give the next one a buff, and then you give the next one a buff, and then, like, you start pulling back some of those things because you're realizing now your original stuff is just not keeping up. I can't tell you, it's a meme. Everyone in the D&D community knows that it is a meme that barbarians, if you're not playing a totem warrior, you're just not doing it right. You know, that's one of those things. Totem warrior was, when Totem Warrior was introduced, when was that introduced, actually? Let's take a look. Totem Warrior was... There's no way that was the PHB. Am I an idiot? Phooey. Wait, where was Totem Warrior introduced? Shoot, where's... I'm an idiot right now. I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot if I pull out the PHB on here and see that this was in here. Barbarian Primal Paths. Ah, son of a bitch. No way. Totem Warrior was not in there. I remember Oh, wait, no, you know what I'm thinking of? I know exactly what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of... Where is it? I don't actually know if it's in here anymore, because I think it's part of, I think it's part of the old stuff. The old legacy things. Hold on. This is going to kill me if I don't find this out. All right, so Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. I swear to God, there was a barbarian subclass in here, and I thought this is where the totem was introduced. Yes, 100%. Boom. Sorry. Hold on. Let me get my physical PHB. This is gonna piss me off. All right. Oh, God, it's been so long since I opened up this book. All right, Barbarian, page 46. Here it is. Create a barbarian, primal instinct, blah, 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 blah. That is it. Path of the Berserker. Motherfucker. Path of the Totem Warrior. Oh, what am I missing? Why did I think that it was just in here? Oh, you know why? They added 2 other aspects to it. That's why. They added the elk and the tiger, because originally it was bear, eagle, and wolf, and they added the elk and the tiger in Sword Coast. They also added the one that I actually played, which was the Battle Rager, which was a dwarf only. This was actually one of the crazy things for a little while. There were race-restricted subclasses. So Bladesinger wizards were restricted to elves for some reason. I guess, you know, just like the Blade Song is an elf thing. Battle Ragers were restricted to dwarves, and the idea was that this was actually pulled from the original Dritz books. The Battle Ragers were dwarves that wore spiked armor, and they would throw themselves at enemies. You got special spiked armor. You could throw yourself at an enemy. You could gain temporary hit points, use the dash action as a bonus action. And I actually had wanted to run a character combo with a friend of mine, my buddy Smith, who plays Smith and Smith in my 2 campaigns. I actually wanted to run a Goliath, you know, barbarian, somebody who was really good at throwing, and play a gnome battle rager, where it was just like they would just hold them and throw this little gnome around it. Today, because of the fighter subclass of Rune Knight that allows you to grow and get bonuses to strength, you could do that combo very well. But back to what I was saying before. Barbarian subclasses. The thing is, you know, like I said, I agree that they need to stop nerfing the OP ones and just bring everything else up. There is a power creep, but it's already happened. We need to make the things that are lower on the totem pole more viable. A Berserker has been remade in so many homebrew editions because it is garbage otherwise. I think I have one in a PDF somewhere. I believe that you're talking about UA the Giant. Primeval. Yep, Giant options. So Path of the Giant was cool as shit, but yeah, Druidic Circle the Primeval. This is a baller subclass. Like, I mean, boring abilities? I don't necessarily think so. I love this Primeval Companion. I love this. I love that you can cast spells through it. I love that it's basically just around. Like, you use this ability to call out this primeval companion, and it's just there. It remains there until it's reduced to 0 hit points or you die. If you can keep that thing alive, and yeah, sure, I'll give you that. You should be able to buff it in some way. But, and granted, I will say, anything that deals with companions in the base rolls is terrible. Hands down, it's awful. But that's why you have stuff like Stibbles. That's why you have stuff like companion options. You know, there's all kinds of homebrew that you can run into there. But I did like this mostly because you just have this companion all the time. You can get, you know, you can have it attack, you can have it give you the help action. When you think about every subclass having a small choice of level 20 abilities, are you so wait, are you saying that at level 20 are you saying that at level 20 every subclass gets something? Because subclasses don't actually get stuff at level 20 except for paladins. Let me see if I can pull up that document I have, because I have it somewhere where it lays that out. Yeah, here it is. Oof. Those are lagging up my computer. Something harsh. Yeah, here we go. So right there, the only subclass that hits level 20 for an ability is a paladin. Everyone else, you get your capstone, you know, far earlier. But, you know, classes, obviously, you're still going to get stuff that carries you through. You know, like, for example, a Barbarian's going to get their capstone ability at 14, or is going to get their last subclass ability at 14, but their, you know, their capstone, their unlimited rages and stuff like that, you know, that's just their thing. But their subclass ability, that's going to be tied further up, except for paladins. But I am interested to hear your example. Curious what you're referring to. Sandstorm. You deal slashing damage. The area within your aura is difficult terrain for all creatures of your choice. When a creature... Okay, so this is... A creature within your aura makes or is targeted by a ranged attack, you can use... Okay. As a reaction, say Primeval gets this big meteor ability. Smashes down a meteor followed by an incendiary cloud, or the other option being to increase your companion size to huge permanently with the temporal growth ability, turning it gargantuan for 1 hour. I don't mind that, but let me ask you this. Are you saying that this would be one or the other, or would you have these two options to pick from all the time? Would it be something that once you get to this point, you have to say, I'm going with A or B, and then that's what you have for the remainder of however long you play that character? Or is it that, okay, I don't mind that. But, so, I mean, if you're saying it in the respect of, like right here, Hulking Behemoth, the companion becomes huge and gains temporary hit points equal to 10 times the level of the slot expended. This lasts for how long? So what? This is a bonus action to expend a spell slot and give them this. And it lasts for 1 hour until the... Okay, so... longer than a long rest. Yeah, I would say... Honestly, I would say it would have to be one or the other, in my opinion. Because I think with that, you're taking your subclass and you're sort of like dividing it down further. Kind of like the Hunter subclass. When you reach 3rd level, you are going to pick whether you're a Colossus Slayer. This person who is going to dish out so many things of damage per turn that you're going to take down the biggest things. Giant Killer being that if something's that much larger than you, you get to attack it immediately after it attacks you, or whether it misses you. And then Horde Breaker is when you start to focus on smaller things. So, like, your ability to dish out damage, your ability to focus on a large creature, and your ability to deal with a bunch of smaller minor characters. With this, you have taken that subclass. You've already taken your Ranger, which is giving you, all these different subclasses, and you've picked this one, and now you're selecting options from there. If you gave Hunter the ability to switch between these, say, at a long rest, or once every, 2 days or something like that, because that's kind of hard to track in itself. Not necessarily that's hard to track, but it's terrible wording in the economy of D&D. But I would say if you wanted to give classes, I mean, I saw you said subclasses. I would say have it tied to the last ability, have it be something that goes one way or the other. But realistically, I think most subclasses are not going to be nearly as diverse. Alternatively, the spells are changed through attunement, which requires you to do a certain task. Yeah, you know what, though? But that you can just do. That's something that you could just do and talk with your DM. For example, when you have certain abilities that are set in stone, work with your DM and just say like, hey, this is kind of an idea that I had of being able to change these. And, as long as your DM's not just like willing to throw the whole barn at you at one time, they will say something along the lines of, oh yeah, like let's tie it to an adventure. Let's tie it to a quest. Let's tie it to some kind of ritual you have to do, something you have to sacrifice. With this one down here with the Scourge of the Ancients, Life, War, and Wind, maybe the DM works in that there are, kind of like in Skyrim, they have the different runes that are spread around the world, where you have like the Thief rune and the Mage rune and the Warrior, Standing Stones. And it's like, okay, you have to go there. You have to do something that aligns with that thing to gain that new ability. If it was like the Life rune, you have to go there and heal somebody. Or you have to sacrifice you have to like give up some of your own life. You have to like bleed yourself. War rune, you might have to go there and fight something. Wind rune, you might have to go there and complete like a dexterous based obstacle course. I don't mind those kinds of ideas. I think expanding upon what's already there is always great, and that's honestly why I love more homebrew than anything, because I don't necessarily know if WotC is going to come up with that kind of stuff. I don't think that that's going to be something that they're going to really dig their heels into. Dungeons and D's nuts. What's up, buddy? Dungeons and D's nuts, or D's nuts and dragons. That's always the other option. How you doing tonight, Kevin? As a reaction, you can impose disadvantage on. As a reaction, the creature within your aura. As a reaction, when a creature within your aura makes or is targeted by a ranged attack, you can impose disadvantage on the roll. Nice. Dragonborn or Kobold only group, so you can call it Dragons and Dungeons. That's right. Well, that would have been, Kevin knows this all too well, that would have been Voltom and Rhymi, the blue Dragonborn Paladin and the white Draconic Ancestry Kobold Sorceress, I guess. Oh, I always forget to do that. Yep, copy, paste, copy, actions. Rhymi was OP, but Rhymi was great for being OP. She was our glass cannon, man. Got a few reptilian characters yourself on Hero Forge. I have one reptilian character that most people who know me, I have brought him up time and time again. Total Vampire, Lizard Folk, Hunter, Kobold, Dragonborn Cleric. See what you need to add there. So you have a Vampire, I mean, kind of a class. Blood Hunter, so yep, we're going, okay, more melee kind of mystic. Drake Warden, Ranger, Companion, Cleric. You're missing a full caster. Glorious. You're missing a full caster, and that I recommend King Gizzard, the Blizzard Wizard, who is a he would be the blood. Yeah, you know what? No, you need to replace him with King Gizzard, the Blizzard Wizard, a silver noble dragonborn who is an ice-based wizard. So that is what you need to have. That is what you need to have. You need to have good old King Gizzard in there. I asked Justin if adding the extra damage die applied to every ray of frost, and he said yes. Yeah, send me the link. Send me the link to the vampire. Well, I mean, that's the thing, Kevin. That's, Justin was our DM at that time, so that's all on him. It's all on him. All right. Coolio. Essentially made. All right. Let's bring up Glorious's Turtle Vampire here. All right. That's sick. I'm okay, so wait. That's sick. I love the idea. What is that? Of phlebotomage or something like that? No, hemomage. Blood mage, yeah. That's sick. I love the blood dripping down from the face, from the beak. That's cool, man. That is a baller baller looking character. Let me bring up my boy here, though. Bring up my boy here. Where is he at? Where's that? Where's my boy at? There he is. Yep. Yeah, I've seen the Hemo Mage before. They are powerful as shit. There's my boy. Yeah, that's right. King Gizzard, the Blizzard Wizard. Got that staff of ice. He's ready. He is ready and willing. All right. Yep. You got to. It looks the best on him. Looks the best on him. All right. So, up next, we got Solar Flare. So, this is the subclass. This is the one that from the original Cataclysm Barbarian. This was the one that was changed from the original name of Corona. So you deal radiant damage and cast bright light. Now I need to show my own TP. It's not the greatest armor on her, but I do like how I made her face. We could make a podcast about Justice Campaign. It would be called Sadness. Called Sadness. That fight on the beach in the Draco lands would be its own episode. Ooh. You deal radiant damage and cast bright lights. You can use a bonus action to intensify the glare. All right, you know what? I'm just leaving it at that. The broken campaign. Broken in the sense that it was broken in half by the fact that we had to, or the fact that we were running two separate campaigns, essentially. Let's see this one. Faster. Solar Flare. Bonus action. All right, that one's not bad. Yeah, I love that shield. That shield is awesome. This was your cleric. I mean, man, looking at a sun on there. I love the moon aspect. Remember that fight that was like 4 whole sessions because he designed it? Yes, I do remember that. That was the moment where in the actual campaign proper, I used the flying T-Rex technique because it was really our only way to win. That was definitely a campaign that was whatchamacallit, the DM versus the players. Yeah, no, this I like this. I like this character. This is sick. This kind of reminds me of well, only because religious Dragonborn character. Didn't even notice it's supposed to be a moon. Yeah, no, honestly, there's a player in my library group that's playing an Eclipse Paladin. This would be such a cool shield if they use that. Oh, look at that. Ardeth Tarek. I don't want him. I want Damsel. Definitely not as flashy. I will say this. Damsel's not as flashy as your character here. But 2 religious Dragonborn characters. A Damsel is a noble. She's a princess, bronze Dragonborn. Bronze? I think bronze is wrong. I think it is bronze. Yeah, bronze. Yeah. Yep, just on the other side. Yep. Yeah, she's a bronze Dragonborn Paladin who is the open sea Paladin. She was locked away in a tower for many years of her life and broke free with the aid of a bronze, with the help of a bronze ray. She is not the commander of a whole army at level 1. She is far lamer than Kelf was. But yeah, she travels the world. She travels the world by sea, fighting for liberation and freedom wherever she goes. Yep. I love these characters. They're cool as hell. All right, Solar Flare is good. So we're gonna back out of there. Move on to the next one, Tempest. This is actually kind of the most important one for tonight, because the person I'm making this subclass for is playing a blue Dragonborn Paladin, and this is the one that they're going to be starting with. So you know, lightning damage. You can use a bonus action to focus the lightning on a creature or object within the aura. You can use a bonus action to blast a target trapped in a tower and free. Yep. That she was. Now that we're at it, here's my Legend of Folk Bloodhunt Profane Soul. You can use bonus action to blast a target in a straight line 15 feet towards away from you. If they are composed, you can move it 30 feet. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool design. I like the color. I like the very like muted tones of the green. Definitely tells of a more it definitely evokes a more tribalistic thing, feeling with the bones and everything. Which is, hey, that's how lizard folk be. They utilize every aspect. The target is composed of wearing metal. Yeah, then we're gonna. Copy. Copy Z. Got at level 3. Yeah, no, this is it's a badass character. What lizard folk druid? What are you talking about, Kevin? Oops. I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, dude, you're just from work? From work? This ain't work. This is play. Granted, my session is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. This is play. This is all for fun. That's why I chose to stream, so I could be distracted. Kothar. I think Kothar was his name, yeah. What became the Greyhawk campaign, what started in Phandalin as the Lost Mines of Phandelver, and somehow phased worlds between whatchamacallit, Faerun and the world of Oath. That's right, Oath. From the Forgotten Realms to Greyhawk, where Phandalin became Flandish. Final reps. All right, let's see what we got here. This one actually has a name on it, Roka. God dang Nothic. Yeah, that Nothic was atrocious. This looks awesome. I love this. This reminds me, if this is supposed to be a kobold, this 100% reminds me of, kind of makes me think of Raimi. Is that what it is? Oh, it doesn't have one. It's supposed to be an actual... Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I love this. I love the look of it. I love the piercings. The kind of trim on its horns, if that's decoration or otherwise. Also love the fact that it's holding another spear with its tail. Prehensile tails are badass. This is a sick character, man. Remy was a baby. I always forgot that too. I forgot that Remy was just a kid. Also, it also wasn't until afterwards that I realized, like, kind of the reality that Remy came from. That was revealed after the fact. She was the best. She was the one who survived through everything. She was the one that made it from day one to, to the end. She was best girl, man. Then what? She basically became like the Queen of Dragons. She had that draconic orb. You deal fire damage and shed bright light. 30 foot. You deal fire damage, and when you take damage, okay. You deal fire damage, and as a reaction, when you take damage, you can deal snippets back. One more. So this is based on Constitution modifier at a minimum of 1. You can deal hashtag unsigned. You deal fire damage, and as a reaction, you deal fire damage. And as a reaction, when you take damage, you can deal that amount. Deal fire damage to creatures of your choice within 5 feet. And push them 5 feet away from. Not away from you. Away from you. There we go. Let's reread that, because this is the one that if Steve actually decides to take over, or run with this Cataclysm V2, you deal fire damage, and as a reaction, when you take damage, you can deal that amount of fire damage to creatures of your choice within 5 feet and push them 5 feet away from you. I think that sounds amazing. Copy Z. Acquired level 3. Right. And actions. General. Disaster aura. Action. Pretty good melee. Oh, referring to this, yeah. No, this is badass. Get yourself into like a group of enemies. I just reread this. Now, Stacy out there will remember a moment back in a session in P5 when the players were at a shrine. They'd been overtaken by orcs and trolls and whatnot. And they had to get in, get a box, and get out. And it was a death trap. Here comes the role lawyering. No, not role lawyering. More of a story. Now, they had to get in and out. It was a dangerous situation, deadly as all can be. And the party had sat and thought about it for a while, and they realized a good option for them was going to be send in the fastest player. That was a Tabaxi monk, and he had a particular item that was a rune of vanishing. Now, for those of you unaware, because this is a homebrew thing, the Vanish runestone states that when you're hit by an attack, you can activate it as a reaction to become invisible and move up to your speed. Now, he had Boots of Speed, which double your movement for the next 10 minutes, I believe. Boots of Speed, click your heels together, double your walking speed, last for 10 minutes. Yep. And he also was playing, as I said, he was playing a Tabaxi. So that means that he had the ability of feline agility, which was that you could double your movement speed until the end of your turn, and you could not do that again until you stopped on one of your turns. So what we realized was he had a base movement speed of 30 feet. And I think he was still fairly low level. I don't think he was really getting a ton of buff from his movement. They were nowhere near level 6. So it would have only been 10 feet. But that still would have been 40 feet. And then that would have been a dash to go up to, or, it would have been doubled for his boots. So it would have gone 40 to 80. And then he could use his feline agility to double that, 160. And then he could dash, getting him another 40, so 200 feet. And it was just enough to get in and out. And I remember the players realized that he didn't have to get hit by an enemy. He could get hit by anything. Just meant an attack. So he stabbed himself in the hand, or somebody stabbed him with a dagger. He turned invisible, ran out, got out. So Cephas could run into a crowd of enemies, say standing on a bridge or something like that, and poke himself with a dagger, and then erupt superheated jets of flame, launching these people back from him. That's kind of crazy, and that's really funny. And I kind of find that hilarious. All right, so let's close all these out, because now we got this main one. Perfect. There we go. So we have all of our 9 options. Everything else in there is good. It's just like this one. The original Path of the Cataclysm doesn't have anything crazy beyond that. Nope. Cool. So now we're going to go. Make sure we always hit save a few times. That's always hyper important. Now we're going to go on to the 6th level ability. This reminds me of the old, how far can you cast Eldritch Blast from? Some guy who starts sniping people. So funny enough with that, if you save more than once, you have anxiety. I know. So funny enough, there is a what is it called? Here it is. Yeah, I just found it. So in the new book that's going to be coming out, it's a Kickstarter. It is the Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt, there is an item in that. There's a whole subclass built up called Pact of the Trigger. Here it is. Wow, that looks terrible. There we go. So this in particular is ridiculous because of sniper form. This is supposed to be a Bloodborne themed subclass that is for warlocks. Your ranged spell attacks have their range doubled and ignore half cover. So with that, with like all of this stuff, there was actually another one on there, but it was Eldritch Blast with the Eldritch Spear Invocation, Spell Sniper, Pact of the Trigger sniper form, and taking a sorcery multi-class to get distance spell, or simply taking the sorceress ability. Yes, at level 17. So my friends and I, we really played through with this. At level 17, you are shooting 8 Eldritch Blasts at 2,400 feet, ignoring half cover. There you go. Because the difference is that it's also, I think we played in about having fighter levels, so you get action surge and shit like that. And I think what it was like with a +5. Oh yeah, ignoring 3/4 because of spell sniper. Yep. So with a +5 to charisma, 8 shots would be 8d10 plus 40. So that's an average of 84 points of damage. Yeah, here we go. Forgo multi-class in favor of Meta Magic Adept. That's what it is. Meta Magic Adept. Multi-class at a champion fighter for 3 levels. This way you can crit on a 19 or 20 as long as you get 3 levels of fighter for champion fighter. You know, being able to... and then on top of that, you're also... Because if you hit a creature from 2,400 feet away, they're going to be surprised. Which means you have advantage. I could talk about D&D all day. In fact, I do. That is very much the truth. Yep. Until one day when my lungs give out. How did I set up this? I did not list everything. Okay, cool. Omen of Catastrophe. I can't say I've ever woken up mumbling something about UA. I have woken up in the middle of the night with ideas for stuff in general. Now roll a race that can fly. Well, yeah. I mean, if we go with Aarakocra or Winged Tiefling or, you know, I think kobolds don't get it. They get sorcery, or they get it if they're a draconic sorcerer later. Could also play the old version of the Hadazee before they nerfed it, where you could just somehow get 500 feet up, and now you're just like a rocket. All right, at 6th level, your power grants benefits all the time. While raging or not, you learn Primordial and gain 1 benefit of the following. Okay, so go. You will learn. Kobolds should be able to pick it since they can, I think. I thought they could. Kevin would actually have to be the one to correct me. There is flying kobolds, though, are called something else. Winged kobolds. No, there's Erd. URD. That's what they are. The Erd are flying kobolds. Yep. Fixed Hadazee. Only get wings for... Yeah, Draconic Ancestry at level 14. Yep. Yeah. player characters, at least as far as my knowledge goes. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I definitely do agree that fixed Hadazi, that is the correct term. I think it was broken how they did it prior. But hey, it is what it is. All right, so this is good. This is, wait, did I have that? I need to change this to has options, I believe. No. Do I? Yes. So wait, no, Hadazi couldn't fly. Let me pull it up here. So Hadazi now all right, so there was two major changes. For one, the original info column right here where it says today Hadazis are sapient bipedal beings eager to leave behind fearsome predators, their homeworld, and explore other worlds. There was 2 paragraphs of text that was taken out because it ties into their origins of being a wizard showed up on a planet, found the Hadazi in their original state, did some magic and experiments on them, turned them into the Hadazi, and was going to use them as weapons, was going to sell them. So apparently Wizards of the Coast got a lot of backlash against that because it's basically a built-in background around slavery and eugenics. So they changed that. They took that whole thing out. The original text, this is going to be that far exceeds the text limit. But you can find it out there. But the trait, the biggest difference now is that the original trait was glide. If you're not incapacitated or wearing heavy armor, you can extend your skin membranes and glide. When you do so, you perform the following aerial maneuvers. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't have a picture of the Hadazi. So here's the Hadazi. You know, they're like ape-like creatures with these big flappy skin folds. So the original wording was, when you are falling, you can move 5 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you descend at no movement cost. Okay? This meant that a monk Hadazi could have up to 300 feet of horizontal movement with a 60-foot drop. You know, that in itself was already kind of broken. The other thing was, just as an always thing, if you take damage from a fall, you can use your reaction to reduce it to 0. Which, that's still a thing now. You can use your reaction to extend your skin membranes and glide horizontally a number of feet equal to your walking speed, and you take 0 damage from the fall. That's still fine, but now they've limited to that, where it's when you fall at least 10 feet, you can move horizontally up to your movement speed. The original wording of being able to move 5 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you descend meant that since the falling speed in 5e is 500 feet per round, that is how much you can move. For every foot you drop, you are moving 5 feet across. So that's very easy to do, that you're moving at 2,500 feet per round. So if you divide 2,500 by 6, you're moving at 416 feet per second. That is 238 miles an hour. You're ripping the skin right off of your bones at that speed. But that's what they did. Yeah, it looks like they removed the picture. I'm sure they're probably going to redo it. Yeah, let's beat D&D with our wicked math skills. Yeah. I mean, that was like me whenever I made up the, when I was trying to do like the fastest character, and it was like a Tabaxi monk with boots of speed, haste, stuff like that. And it's like, oh yeah, this moves so fast that you just rip your skin off. Oh boy. All right, so Omen Catastrophe. Time to get the resistances. So, same thing on here. We're going to open all of these, and then we're going to open 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Centaur with 2 pairs of adapt. Oh my god. Well, I would personally say as a DM, if one of my players came to the table as a centaur with 2 pairs of boots of speed, I would just tell them no and say you could benefit from 1. Then again, I also did let a player put horseshoes of speed or horseshoes of Zephyr. Yeah, horseshoes of a Zephyr. I had a player had a horse with horseshoes of a Zephyr, and the phrasing of that is, these iron horseshoes come in a set of 4. While all 4 shoes are affixed to the hooves of a horse or a similar creature, they allow the creature to move normally while floating 4 inches above the ground. This effect means the creature can cross or stand above non-solid or unstable surfaces such as water or lava, leaves no tracks, and ignores difficult terrain. In addition, the creature can move at a normal speed for up to 12 hours without suffering exhaustion from a forced march. I had a player in the campaign that sodomizing for, yeah. That's a story I won't tell on here because Twitch has TOS. But with that, it was with the horseshoes of a Zephyr, he cut the horse died, and instead of just like taking them off and finding another horse eventually or whatever he had, he strapped the horse hooves to his own feet and then used them to walk himself. He's a monster. Centaur Rogue. That would be. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Horseshoes of a Zephyr on a Centaur Rogue. But let's be real here. Centaur Rogue is kind of funny in itself. Oh man. Alright. Modifiers. Resistance to necrotic. And we need to add a bonus. So this is going to be bonus. So this is nope. Is it in here? Advantage on saving throws. And we're going to do nope, details. Against poisons and disease. Aaron was a monster. Still a lovable friend, but a monster. Alright. Cool. Blight done. Blizzard. Alright. Coolio. Modifiers. Resistance to cold. I believe I can't really change this. Oh wait, can I? No, yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's fine. I just can't do that. Centaur should have a passive ability where if someone moves directly behind it and interacts with a centaur in any way, you need to make a dice. Centaur already gets some decent abilities. I mean, I could see that. Like, just you know what? No, you know what? Not have it tied to the race. Not have it tied to the race. Have it tied to the character. Have it be a flaw. Have it be that your character's flaw is that if somebody approaches from behind, as a reaction, if a creature gets in the 5-foot square directly behind the centaur and interacts with it in any way without, like, coming into vision, your character makes a reactionary attack against them, regardless of who it is. I would 100% let that be a character flaw. All right. Earthquake. Mount. You can. Actually, no, you can't. Unless you're small. You can, if you're small, you can mount a centaur. That is true. You just can't mount anything that's the same size as you. And since centaurs, there's no, whatchamacallit, there's no way that they would ever make a centaur large as a base race. The closest you're going to get is being a gnome or a halfling or like something that's small. What are we doing? We're doing thunder. Thunder resistance. And we need to do sense, tremor sense, and this is going to be 15 feet. Dwarves just now get that, by the way. Part of the new UA. Not this one. Character origins. They, right there. Stone cunning. You have tremor sense. As long as you're touching a stone surface. Fairies would work. Fairies are small. Earthquake. Save again. Flood. You gain a swim speed equal to your walking speed and breathe underwater. You also gain dark vision. Blah, 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 blah. Cool. Acquired level 6. Does it? Use a catastrophe, your aura. I'm gonna have to go back through and double check these because these should not be necessary. I'm gonna double check though. All right, this one is so powerful. All right, so let me take this off of there because I don't want that on there. I don't want that to be tied because you can pick and choose. Starting at 3rd level, choose a catastrophe from the options list below. Your aura gains. Okay, at 6th level, your power grants you benefits all the time, whether you're raging or not. You learn primordial and gain 1 benefit based on your chosen aura. I think I'm just gonna let them. I want to let them exist because of how the particular character that I'm making this for is gonna run. I don't want to mess with anything there. All right, so modifiers. So we need to do set speed, innate swimming 30. No. Innate, yeah. I think that's right. I could be wrong. Breathe underwater, can't change that. Dark vision. Sense. Dark vision. We're just going to do 30. Because I don't know how to make it so that it would be like one that would change if you already have it. Oh wait, actually, fixed value. No, I don't want those. It's not set, so it should be an addition. Yeah, it should be an addition. Okay. All right, so Flood's good. Move on to Nexus. This one is still that crazy one to me. This is the one that's now giving you Prestidigitation. Six. Modifier. Resistance. Necrotic. Spells. Prestidigitation. And ability score is Constitution. Go. Save. And cancel. Now, I need to double check something on Flood. Aha. Oh, Flood doesn't get a resistance. I just realized that. Huh. Thought it did. Okay. Moving on. Sandstorm. You don't suffer the effects of extreme heat. Oh, wait, that's right. That's right. Flood gets cold and... Yep. Flood gets cold and Sandstorm gets fire. You just don't get that to start with. Because cold is already associated with blizzard. That's right. You can survive for thrice as long. You also learn the Gust cantrip. Cool. I like that. I like that one. Sandstorm, kind of like, you know, your camel. So we're just gonna do Gust. Ability score, con, save. I don't think there's anything I can do yet, because like I know there's ways. I know there's ways to like portray that. Or maybe I'm wrong. You know what? Yeah, no, I think it's just like, it's just phrasing. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just phrasing. All right, cool. So that's Sandstorm. Now we're on to Solar Flare. You gain resistance to radiant damage. Learn the Light cantrip. Gotta love the Light cantrip. So utilitarian. Modifier resistance. Oh. Radiant. My neck. Light. Con. Save. Just goes so much faster once you get like these easier aspects to these classes and subclasses and stuff like that. It's just so chill now, you know, just sitting through copying and pasting shit. Tempest. Easy, simple, straightforward. Create option. Oh, you mean light doesn't lighten them? Nope. Light's heavy, man. Light's real heavy. What kills me about this subclass is that it doesn't have anything associated with acid, which is actually something that I might struggle with later on in the campaign that the player who I'm making this for is playing in, because I like want to give that player the option to fight different dragons, but I don't know how I would handle acid, and I thought like flood, giving this acid resistance, and just kind of like working it in there. An acid wing. It's an acid wing. I know acid splash. Or do you mean wing as in like option? Yeah, and I thought about it. It's just I haven't figured out how, like, what that would be. You know, like blight kind of, like I thought of like meltdown almost. You know, kind of tying it to like, you know, like radiation in a sense. You know, something that would be like with this, you know, you deal acid damage and the area within your aura becomes fit, like caustic acid begins to seep up around you, kind of like the original Volcano one, where it's like creatures within your aura that are touching the ground take, you know, an amount of damage equal to your you know, Constitution modifier or something like that, or like they take, you know, your aura damage, so long as they're touching the ground within 5 feet of you, and then letting the omen of catastrophe being that you gain resistance to necrotic and something else. The area becomes difficult terrain or something. Disadvantage to creatures. Oh. Oh, you know what? I kind of like that. Oh, no, I kind of like that. Creatures in the aura have disadvantage on attack rolls as the, yeah, no, I kind of like that. You deal acid damage and your aura is filled with a caustic gas or an acidic air. Creatures have disadvantage on attacks while within this range. Kind of like that. I'll have to work on the wording, but I'll probably add that tomorrow because I don't need acid added into this for any amount of time. Because that comes from a black dragon, which nobody's that group is not fighting black dragon anytime soon. All right, cool. So cancel, sick. All of those, get back to just one. Now I need to see these first ones. Yeah, see, that was tying to a thing. I too remember some acid damage that your party dealt with. It's fun. Lots of fun. All right, cool. So there we go. 6th level Omen of Catastrophe is done. Just got to save it a few times. Cancel. Shielding Storm. All right, now we're on to Gaia's Embrace. Beginning at 10th level, you can not only shield your allies from your furious aura, but also protect them from similar effects. All creatures of your choice within the aura have resistance to your aura's damage type, unless you have Flood or Aura. Yes. Okay, so beginning at 10th level, all creatures of your choice within your aura have resistance to your aura's damage type. Period. Sandstorm equals Sandstorm grants. No, we're gonna do it alphabetically correct. Flood grants cold resistance, and Sandstorm grants fire resistance. Sick. Save. Easiest one. Easiest one. All right, now on to the last one. Channel the Apocalypse. I just selected that whole picture. At 14th level. I just realized something. No, that's fine. I shouldn't have to do that. There'd be too much space. At 14th level, you can use powerful magics that personify your disaster. You learn a pair of spells determined by your aura, which you can cast only while raging. If your rage ends while you're concentrating, the spell continues for the remainder of its duration. You can cast and concentrate. Why do I have that multiple times? I have that doubled. There we go. You can cast and concentrate upon these spells while raging, unlike normal spells. You can also cast them without material components if they require them. You can cast a spell, maybe something that makes enemies nearby take damage if they breathe. Yes. Yes. Ooh, I like that. Creatures in the aura must make a Constitution saving throw. Creatures that breathe air in the aura must make a Constitution saving throw or be... I don't know if incapacitated is the way to go. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I gotta look up a black dragon stat block real quick. Adult black dragon. Acid breath. No, that's a line. Noxious gas. A bubble of swamp gas erupts in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point. Each creature in the area must succeed a DC 15 con save or be poisoned for a minute. Okay. Do it. Like it's what's the other one? Shit. Who's the other? It's a brass dragon. That's the other one, I think, that has acid. Or no, brass is fire. Who the fuck? It's not. No, it's not bronze. Copper. Copper is the one I'm thinking of. That's the metallic dragon. Oh, that's right. He has laughing gas. Okay, but that one's incapacitated. You know what? Oh, I kind of like that. A cloud of noxious gas fills the aura. Each creature in the aura must make a DC 15 Constitution save, or is incapacitated as it falls. No, I wouldn't say as it falls prone. but is incapacitated with a coughing fit. An ability that spreads this nauseous gas onto nearby enemies, and they hold the... No, I wouldn't say that, because then you're really you're spreading that aura, and there's other ones that could do that. It would have to be something contained to the aura. I would say... I just don't know, like, what the catastrophe now is going to be called. You know, like, Blight is fine for that, but, like, what... I guess Meltdown I keep thinking of, but, you know, like, what ties to acid? What... You know, ooh, Biohazard. There we go. Biohazard. Love it. I'm going to do that one right after this. I got to do this one, though. So, this has options. Save changes. So, 14th level. So, we need to get rid of this. So, this is Channel the Apocalypse now. You learn a pair of spells. You can cast and concentrate upon these spells like normal spells. You can cast them. You can cast a spell granted by this feature a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier, minimum of once, and regain all expended. Okay. So we need to do... You learn a pair of spells determined by your aura, which you can cast... on unsigned, which you can cast 5 times per long rest. So you can cast long rest only while raging. Ta-da. Abilities. Yeah, we're just gonna make sure we add this in here. It's Constitution. All right, cool. So, save. It has options. So again, bump all these open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is not reliant on anything else. So, Blight. You learn the spells Giant Insect and Harm. So, gotta add each one of these separately. Giant Insect. Its ability score is Con. Number of uses used by ability modifier, Con. And its reset type is a long rest. Ooh. Sweet. And Harm. Same thing. Con, long rest. I'm just going to copy that because that's just going to make my life easier. So there we go. Blight. Lizard. You learn the spells Agathis and Ice Storm. I do really like that idea of the acid stuff. Storm. Sweet. Nope. So this one is move Earth and Earthquake. Mother fucker. I just read something. Son of a bitch. Okay. You learn the spells Move Earth and Earthquake. Okay, hold on. You are immune. Because this is Earthquake. You are immune to thunder damage. Thunder damage. And you learn the spells Move Earth and Earthquake. I will have to go back and redo the others. That's fine. I only got 3 in before I realized my mistake. So we need to go in here. Immunity. Thunder. Spells. Earth. Con, long. And Earthquake. Con, and long. Okay, make sure that doesn't have a prerequisite. Save it again. Cancel. Now we're going to close these ones out. We're going to open these both up because you gain... How did I word that? Yeah. You are immune to poison damage, and you're immune to poison damage and learn this. Yeah, that's fine. I actually prefer that wording. You are immune to, because that's right. No, that's necrotic, not poison. Christ. Cool. Save that for the wording. Add the modifier. Immunity. Nope. Son of a gun. Necrotic. There you go. Save that. Cool. All right, so Blizzard. You are immune to cold damage and learn the spells Agathis and Ice Storm. Save it. Modifier. Immunity. Cold. Now I'm back in. Okay, so after Earthquake, we got Flood. You are immune to... No, you're not immune... Oh, no, you are immune to cold damage, and you learn the spells Control Water and Water Walk. 15. Create. Oh, that's right. These ones already had it, so I'm going to have to make sure I hit that one each time. Oh, what was this? Oh, flood. Modifier. Immunity. Cold. Any better flood was immune to force. No, that's Nexus. I could actually see it. I could see it being any. I could see it being bludgeoning. I could see it being force. I could see it being like any one of the three. Being that water is cold and oftentimes has more association with cold damage, I'm gonna lean that way at least. Water. Reset. Immune to bludgeoning is a bit immune. It's like resistant to bludgeoning? No. Well, I mean, like you get resistance from your 6th level ability. But then you get immunity once you reach 14th. So nothing in here is going to get you resistance to bludgeoning. Oh, a bit OP. Yeah, it is. But also at 14th level, it's kind of, things have already kind of gotten, fairly over the top. There's items that can give you immunity to, a certain type of damage. In fact, I think it's like, yeah. Armor of vulnerability. While wearing this armor, you have resistance to bludgeoning damage. So, like, there are things that get you... I don't think anything gets you immunity. But, yeah, once you get up to, like, 14th level, to have immunity to one kind, but I would never go immunity to any of the basic mundanes. You're just kind of asking for trouble. If you have immunity to bludgeoning, you have immunity to fall. So you could, I would never allow that in any of the ones that I ran. Just one. That's asking for trouble. Maybe immune. Nope. Again, that's you're still playing with fire, giving yourself immunity to fall damage at that point. Nexus. You are immune to force damage. And learn the spells. What? Big B's hand. And Wall of Force. Wall of Force, that's a powerful ass spell. Just exclude. Yeah, I mean you could if you really wanted to get specific. It's kind of one of those things where it's like once you start getting so specific, you kind of lose the identity of it. It becomes like way too convoluted at that point. It's like in this very specific instance, you have immunity to it. It has to be non-magical. It can't be natural. It can't be falling. Stuff like that. Rest. Rest. Yep. Nexus is good. To Darude Sandstorm. You are immune to fire damage. And learn the spells. freedom of movement, and wind wall. Immunity to fire. Freedom of movement. Wind wall. There it is. Like, oh man, I was getting confused. I'm like, there is no way there's a spell out there that I don't have. All right. Up next, Solar Flare. The one that used to be Corona. Radiant damage. And you learn the spells. Shield. And Flame Strike. I'm actually kind of surprised that those are the two spells you get, but I guess if it is tying to the sun, that does make sense. It's going to be more fire-based options. Immunity to Radiant. Spells. Shield. Flame Strike. All right, now for the most important one, because this is going to be the one that will be used first. Well, no, I guess it won't. You are immune to lightning damage and learn the spells Chain Lightning and Wind Wall. Huh. Not that I guess there's any issue with it. I just wasn't expecting two of these to have the same spell. Interesting. Can't necessarily say off the top of my head. I can think of a better spell, because Tempest is supposed to be about you know, wind and lightning and thunder and stuff like that. And there's not really like a thunder, you know, a good thunder one. Yeah. Cool. Save. And the last one. Volcano. You are immune to fire damage. And you learn the spells Fireball and Wall of Fire. Fireball. Con Long Rest. This one, though, I do need to put in a thing, because it said if the spell's not already 4th level, it's if it's not already 4th level, higher. Never mind. Cool. All right, there we go. So do you more homebrew subclasses? I mean, I will personally never claim that I do these. This is not mine. This is something from, you know, you can see the link. No, you can't see the link up here. I'll put the link to the document I'm pulling this off of. That link will actually take you directly to this particular page. It'll take you to page 14. This has a bunch of stuff, honestly, and I looked through a couple of these barbarian things, a rebuild of the Berserker and stuff like that. But I don't really do a ton of homebrew. I much prefer taking other people's homebrews and kind of like construing them around my own wants and desires. But I've never made my own personally. All right, there we go. Path of the Cataclysm version 2 is done. Yes. All barbarians have powerful rage. The untamed elemental fury to those who follow the path of the Cataclysm is a more tangible rage than most. Attuned to the greatest extremes and natural disaster, these barbarians train with druids at the harsh ends of civilization or with planeswalkers at the para-elemental borders between worlds. These bastions of elemental power represent the chaotic energy of the world at its mightiest and wield it on the battlefield to widespread and devastating effect. Awesome. Save changes. Honestly, I'm going to forego adding the barbarian, or not the barbarian, but I'm gonna forego adding the hunter to the barbarian subclasses. I just don't necessarily, at this point it doesn't serve me any benefit to add it. I would never play it, and I don't think anybody in my groups would ever play a barbarian that way. Yeah, with that, I think I'm gonna call it a night. So thanks again for hanging out with me. I had a fun time tonight. You know, some folks that I've had around here, you know, Stacy and Kevin, thanks for hanging out. Glorious, thank you for hanging out, sharing your characters, your hero forges, all your reptiles and lizards and stuff. That was awesome. They're excellent characters. Yeah, I think for tonight I'm gonna call it. Glorious, if you're interested, if you enjoy D&D, come hang out on the channel on Sundays. Generally every Sunday I have a game going on here. This Sunday is going to be the Phandalin 5. It's a group of adventurers who are based, it started out as a Dragon of Ice Spire Peak campaign. It's kind of now got elements of the continuation of that. It's still Dragon of Ice Spire Peak, but it's the Stormlord's Wrath, Divine Contention, stuff like that, but also with elements of Rise of the Tomb. Do I do this kind of stuff more often though? It's an occasional thing. Hanging out and just kind of working on D&D stuff is more here and there whenever necessary. If there's an audience for it, if I can work on some of this stuff, I'll stream a little bit more of that stuff. I have, I have some things floating around. I often do my, my prep for my library game on these evenings. So that might be something that I could stream, since really nobody on here is going to be from the library. And if that's something that interests you, yeah, I'll try and do some more of that stuff. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, with that, we'll call it for the nights. Been on for about 2.5 hours. Everybody, thank you again for hanging out, staying by. It's been a lot of fun. Got a lot of work done tonight. Got a lot of sidetracking done. That's always my favorite. So thanks again for stopping out, and everybody out there in Streamlands, have a good night.